Well, a blessed good morning and welcome to our devotions for today, Tuesday. As we gather this morning, let us do so mindful of the tremendous blessings that has been given to us over the time of our journey here in this world. And let us see if we can find ways to really honor this gift that has been given to us. So as we come this morning, we do so with hearts open and receptive to see what God is saying to us in these early morning hours. And we come with thanksgiving in our hearts. We come with peace and with the desire for God's richest blessings. Coming into your sacred space, coming into that place where you acknowledge the presence of the divine, and you realize how wonderful God is with this gift of life, this blessing of being in this world. We are thankful. And so we breathe in into our heart space and out. With every in-breath, visualize divine white light in all its brilliance coming into our being. And as you breathe out, see other colored light representing all that has been used up. And so we give thanks for that which has served us in times past. As we let it go, replacing it with a sense of expectation, a sense of great expectancy. We never know what is coming towards us. but we know things are coming, and they come for our benefit. And so we have this sense of expectancy. And when they have served us, we let them go with gratitude. Just allow yourself to be in this space. As we contemplate these words of ours, as we seek to look at what is not seen, as we seek to look at what is eternal. After Jesus had left that place, he passed along the Sea of Galilee. And he went up the mountain where he sat down. Great crowds came to him, bringing with them the lame, the blind, the maimed, the mute, and many others. They put them at his feet, and he cured them. So that the crowd was amazed when they saw the mute speaking, the maimed whole, the lame walking, and the blind seeing. And they praised the God of Israel. Then Jesus called his disciples to him and said, I have compassion for the crowd because they have been with me now for 3 days and have nothing to eat. I do not want to send them away hungry, for they might faint on the way. The disciples said to him, where are we to get enough bread in the desert to feed so great a crowd? Jesus asked them, how many loaves have you? They said, 7, and a few small fish. Then ordering the crowd to sit down on the ground, he took the 7 loaves and the fish. And after giving thanks, he broke them and gave them to the disciples. And the disciples gave them to the crowds. And all of them ate and were filled. And they took up the broken pieces left over, 7 baskets full. Those who had eaten were 4,000 men, besides women and children. After sending them away, he got into the boat and went to the region of Magadan. Each day brings with it its own challenges. Each day brings with it its own joys, its own opportunities. But we must be waiting and filled with expectancy for these opportunities. Else it is very easy for us to miss them. Dwelling on the theme for this week, looking at what is not seen. For what is seen is temporal, but what is not seen is eternal. One of the downsides of our Western experience is the heavy degree of materialism that we have been fed for eons. The West has perceived itself as being more developed than the East, and we've prided ourselves on this fact based on our accomplishments, the accomplishments of materiality, the things that we have built, which on the grand scheme of things are still minuscule when compared to some of the feats that have been in existence for eons, which still baffle us as to how they were created. Nonetheless, we pat ourselves on the back for all the various things that we have put together, or transportation methodologies, or communication abilities, our ability to fly, and even to go to the moon. These are all things that can be seen, and we have lauded ourselves because of these things, these accomplishments. But what of the other side? What of the non-visible side? Round about the 1960s, when the young people of the time were exploring life and having a sense that something was missing, and ever so often someone would pop up that would offer an alternative thought. These were the days of the freedom movement. Freedom in the black community among the southern states of North America. Freedom among what was called the flower people. These were young persons that wanted to explore the notion of peace and love. At the time they were surrounded by the call to war, the draft to Vietnam, but they felt that there was something greater than going to war. This was also the time when teachers from the East came over and brought with them ideas such as present moment, meditation, contemplation. And the West would look at the East and say that the East was uncivilized, and even at times to go so far as to say barbaric. But the same West would have developed the hydrogen bomb, would have released it on Hiroshima, would have killed countless numbers of persons and left the land devastated. In the West, we have focused on that which we can see, but we've had little time for that which is not seen. And this is interesting because the West has had such a dose of religion in places at times in past. There were churches on every corner, sometimes churches next to each other. Oftentimes there were churches of the same denomination in places like the UK, Church of England, buildings where they were worshipping differently, one high church, one low church on the same street. And so there was countless opportunities for persons to learn the importance of the inner journey. But that was not the goal of the church at the time. The goal was more about control. The goal was more about amassing wealth, materiality. So we know how to see the things that are seen. We know how to value and measure these things. But we have no clue, really, how to regard the things that are not seen. For the most part, oftentimes in the West, persons who sought to engage themselves in things that were not seen were oftentimes demonized. And in being demonized, they were oftentimes killed, executed, murdered. Only recently, the Scottish Church apologized to the descendants of the persons who were executed, burned at the stake, or some other horrible means of death because they were perceived as being witches. So many persons, because they sought to see what was not seen, were killed. A previous reading a few days ago would have been about Jesus casting out demons and being considered a demon himself. We in the West have had little time for that which is not seen. And it is as though we have run aground because we have come to a place where we are perceiving the end results of this journey of materiality, climate crisis, devastation, poverty, violence, senseless murdering of innocent people, the incarceration of countless men of color. All of these things stem from a lack of the ability to see or to even look at that which is not seen. The challenge for you and for me is, will we awaken and be honest and acknowledge this truth? Will we ourselves change direction and seek to look at that which is not seen? Or will we continue down this path simply because it is all that we have done? The choice is ours, and we have to decide. We're in time of real decision making. Am I going to stay with this, or am I going to do something differently? Look at that which is not seen, for that which is seen is temporal. That which is not seen is eternal.
Amazing grace will always be my song of praise, for it was grace that bought my liberty, and I do not know just why he came to love me so. He looked beyond my faults and saw my need, and I shall forever lift mine eyes to Calvary, to view the cross where Jesus died for me, and how marvelous that grace that caught my falling soul. He looked beyond my faults and saw my need. If not for grace, my soul would be a drifting ship with no safe harbor from the angry waves. But Calvary's cross shines brightest through the darkest of storms, and just in time His mercy rescued me, and I shall forever lift mine eyes to Calvary, to view the cross where Jesus died for me, and how marvelous that grace that caught my fallen soul. He looked beyond my faults. He saw me in need. Ooh.